I'm Brandon,
And I'm Brandon.
and welcome back to Apollo City Comics, your anything and everything comic book podcast. Uh, dude, we are continuing our reign of. Like we said last time, we did Detective Comics 27, and we knew that these are the first issues of these characters. First appearances, not first issues, first appearances, and
Some of
then
them have been first issues.
yeah,
Not all.
these last two have just been that with and it's the first issue of these characters like Batman #1, Doctor Strange #1, Thor #1. We're gonna catch up on and see how that correlates with their origin issue too, because a lot of these characters, as we're discovering, were just in like anthology comic books
Yeah.
and just quick short stories, just like God, what is it, Tales of Beyond of Mystery,
Tales of
Mystery
Mystery?
Beyond. Tales of
I think it was
Mystery.
Tales. I don't know. They all have
Journey
wacky
into
names.
Mystery. Journey into
Yeah,
Mystery?
Journey into Mystery. Yeah, it was
All
Journey
right,
into
yeah.
Mystery.
Wow, that took a lot of figuring out. Imagine being in
Yeah.
the writer's room pitching that, just trying to like remember the
Sure.
titles of this stuff. It's just like
Uh,
Beyond the Journey of the
er-
Center of
Everybody was just trying to think of words that made sense, and probably who knows what else. Maybe they're fucking just like, I don't
Stanley's
know. It
like
sounds cool.
it needs to be striking. It needs to be
Yeah.
bigger.
Excelsior. Do you even know what that means, Stan? No, but Excelsior.
Gamma.
Camera. Radiation. That's literally how I envision it.
I picture Stan all coked out, like with his sunglasses in the office.
Was it ever-
just like
Was it ever confirmed he was on coke?
I don't doubt it, dude. How do you come up with all this shit without being on coke that much and heavy drugs and psychedelics? Like he was
True,
Funky
yeah.
Flash Man for the reason, you know what I mean? I'm sure for it,
That's bad.
but but I mean, dude. Okay, speaking of drugged up Stan Lee, here we are, Strange Tales 110, the July issue.
July issue, we made
Woo! We finally did a
Hey.
July
Oh,
issue
wait.
in July.
it.
It's Captain Marvel.
It's Captain Marvel.
Yeah. We haven't followed our Marvel calendar at all. But hey, man, this is a bombastic cover. Like, dude, look at this. Strange Tales. And it threw me off because you would not know that Doctor Strange is in this fucking book.
Maybe by the name.
Never judge a book by its cover.
Literally.
Strange Tales. Are the flaming powers of the Human Torch strong enough to defeat both the Wizard and Paste Pot Pete? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
The Mirror Prison was a great idea of yours, Wizard. It's just like, I like the idea of like the dialogue on the cover, but it's so busy, man. Like,
And even if he does, Pete, you'll finish him off with your invincible paste pot. What the fuck is it? It's a pot.
yeah.
We're not reading the Human Torch story.
No, I thought we were. I'm all reading it at work. I'm like, hey, when does Doctor Strange show up? And you're like, oh, just skip that shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
I saw how long the story was, and it's like the Fantastic Four Doctor Strange too. It's not even like the Human Torch, one of the first Marvel characters, which is
Right.
bizarre. Well, I mean, I didn't read it, so I
apparently-
don't know shit. So
Yeah, I barely got through half of it.
Paste
Apparently, in
pot.
Marvel Unlimited and DC Infinite, the cover counts as page 1.
I mean, that makes
It
sense in like a PDF file standpoint, but come on, guys, you're better than that. Just put cover and start page 1 on page 1.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I mean? Like, like just label
put
your
cover.
shit.
Oh,
Just label it.
shit. So you got to go through 14 pages of Marvel Unlimited. You're like, some guys have all the luck, huh? Yeah, sure. Now I've got to stay up all night and study for the exams tomorrow because I missed so much schoolwork trapping the Wizard and Paste Pot Pete. That's a mouthful. Fuck, dude. I lost breath. If I'm lucky,
Face
then...
pop me. What kind of
Yeah.
fucking name is that?
if I'm lucky like this again, I'll shoot myself. Like, the end. Anyways,
he
here's
just
Doctor
said, "I'll
Strange.
fucking
So
kill
here's the
myself."
actual reason we're doing this episode.
Just like depressed teenager, like in college, being like, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. And then
I know,
Doctor
right?
Strange,
Jesus.
master of black magic.
And this like passed the comics code. But...
Oh man, dude. Story: Stan Lee. Art: Steve Ditko. Our man.
Steve
dude,
Ditko, dude.
Steve Ditko. His art is so dope in this book for being whatever year we should have looked up when this came out. Where's Ryan? Where's our boy? He was supposed to be on this
I
episode.
know he's supposed to know these Marvel random shit.
We need the Bifrost to shoot across and to give us this information.
So you ready for this? Take a guess what year this came out.
1963.
Oh wow. I mean,
61.
yeah, you're right. 63.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
I'm
was
fucking
shocked,
badass, dude. That's my Doctor
dude.
Strange, Master of Black Magic fucking powers right there. That's what this comic does too.
Well, it was like 1961. Amazing Fantasy came out, or was it
That
two?
was like
Am I,
19, like 39 or something. I don't know, dude.
no, 15. Sorry.
I don't know. I literally just thought I have no
Oh,
idea when Spider-Man came out.
well, July
60.
1st.
Yeah, no, 61. You're right. I think it was in 61. I want to say that. In
I can
fact,
just look it up. I
I'll
have a computer in front of me. But we'll wait
um,
till that episode. Published July 1st, 1963.
1962 was Spider-Man.
Oh, see, I knew it was like
We
none
were
of them were
close.
like
Both of
not
us
on
were.
that.
Hey,
Yeah.
we can't win them
But
all.
Strange Tales started in 51. This is issue 110. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like,
Whoa, started in 51. So this book has been going on for like 13
12
years
years,
now. 12 years. I can't do math.
give or take 12 years. Yeah. Fucking 110 issues, dude. Like, it
That
only took
is
110 to get to
what?
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Like when you look at a creative standpoint, where these guys are just pumping out every idea they had in their head, like how cool is that? You know what I mean? If I could just dish out, like think about how many bad, but how many gems there probably are in these. But like if to
Oh,
really,
yeah.
by the
Characters that
time you
never
get to
took
that
off.
gem, you're so fucking sick of that book. You're just like, I just want to end it. But
Yeah, like who's sitting around going, yeah, I still got my issue 110. You know, like, I know there's people out there, but
it's man, the art, dude. The art. We were talking about sizing and kind of what Batman looked like in 20 in I mean again, this is like a 30, I mean not a 30. It's like a 15-20 year gap, you know what I mean?
yeah.
But like when you look at the sizing and the characters, how well Ditko was versus Bob Kane, like it is mind-blowing like
That
from the bat.
that bottom right panel looks like it could have been out of a Vertigo book in the 90s.
It looks like a Bernie Wrightson definitely
Yeah.
drew from Steve Ditko, and then that even has some like Darwin Cook feel in it too, you know?
Well, that panel honestly looks like something out of like Sandman to me.
Yeah, dude, yes, yeah. It's eerie, it's creepy from the start. Um I mean, I can't fight it alone. Help! I heard a name. Spoken in the whispers. Doctor Strange. He dabbles in black magic. Perhaps he can help me.
Yeah. Basically, this guy can't sleep.
Yeah.
He's having the same dream. He's having nightmares, basically. So he goes to Doctor Strange. Yeah, we're jumping in, right?
Yeah, jumping in.
Yeah. So again, I will say this on record: the 9-panel grid has always existed. It was never really It was never defined when it was created, who created it, but Marvel made it popular, and I will stand by that. Ditko made it popular. You read any Ditko book, you're guaranteed to have this 9-panel grid throughout the entire book, every page. But I also feel like these types of books, like artists like Dick, I feel like Ditko is a better artist in certain ways than like
Hell yeah.
Kirby.
Oh, and then Kirby, I can strongly agree with that in some instances. I think if Ditko would have, Kirby had that continuous superhero work where Ditko like stopped, Ditko only
Uh-huh.
did so much like with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man and such before he went and just kind of secluded himself and, he did Mr. A, which is a book I've always wanted to read and cover. And some really obscure like independent stuff, and he even worked into like a little office basically until he died in New York, or wherever. But I think it was New York. But his comic book career, I think if he would have continued to like allow himself to flourish the way Kirby did, or if he had that drive the way Kirby did, I would have just loved to see how much bigger and more bombastic he could have gotten, how much more creative. And I mean, Mr. A is one of those books that when you look at it like structurally and creatively, it is like this insane, like for one, the concept's really interesting, kind of just like a black and white, good or evil, there is no in between type of character. But the way his art is, it's really just abstract. Like he becomes more and more of an abstract artist, I feel, as
Mhm.
he continued on to his career. But I would have loved to see more superhero stuff from him. You know what I mean? Just like that more
Yeah,
comic
just
book standard feel like, but he became like an artist at that point, kind of
Yeah.
like that Dave McKean type of feel, like you want him to just continue doing this one thing because he's so fucking good at it, and you want to see how
Hmm.
much better it could be, but he didn't go that route in that sense.
Is it weird that when I look at Steve Ditko, I think of him as like the conventional like Silver Age artist in a way, besides Kirby?
Oh yeah, I would feel the same
Like
way. Yeah, like
like
that's who you're drawn
when
to
you think,
probably.
yeah, when you think Silver Age, who is it you think about? And
I
like
mean,
this art style.
especially in our, I mean, we'll fucking admit it. Like, we don't know a lot about the Silver and Golden Age. Like, hands up. Like, I know. Um, I mean, I'm aware of it. I know I've seen the art. I've seen the books. Like, I know a little bit, but I can't name drop the way I can from like kind of like the
Modern day.
70s on. Yeah, from basic Bronze Age on. Like, I can't. I'm my our knowledge is pretty strong in those eras, but like our
Yeah.
Gold and Silver Age, that's why we're doing these dives. Kind of expand it just a little bit more, just kind of
Yeah.
grow those calves,
I
like
always,
you gotta.
yeah, exactly. I always tell people, I'm like, I don't know everything. I try to learn what I can, but it's hard. It's a lot of books.
And so I think once we dive into other books and we kind of widen, I'm gonna go back into, I don't know why it came into my head, but from the Batman episode, I'm gonna widen our girth a little bit, and and we'll check out some other creators from this era that we might even enjoy even more. But these are the most popular ones, Ditko,
But yeah,
like
we gotta
Spider-Man
cover them.
creator. That's where his name is at, and that's why we're all aware of Doctor Strange, artist like and creator. Like that's why he's the first one that comes to our mind. But if anyone else knows dope Golden Age, Silver Age artists, then drop them in the comments. Let us know. Educate
Yeah.
us. Show us a book. We'll do it. We'll do it. But
We're
anyways,
down to learn more.
but look at the detail in this. Like, look at Doctor Strange's stash. Like, how
Yeah.
do you come up with that?
Well, let's talk about how this guy is just like, I hear he's strange. He like swings he doesn't swing a door open, but basically, is it confirmed who that is with Strange?
He doesn't say like. You would think it would say on this page the way they introduce the characters. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is the introductory, like this story's about 4 pages long or something.
Who's like his buddy Wong, right?
Yeah,
That's definitely.
I don't,
I'm assuming that's
I'm
not the character.
unless he just has like I don't know monks hanging out with this thing. It could be. I'm
I
assuming.
guess
I
so.
don't know.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, what were you gonna say?
I would say no, go on. I'm jumping to the bottom of the page already. So
Oh no, I was gonna say for me, the thing that's funny is like, you just can't avoid the words in these books, man. Like, but what's interesting is this is one of those Silver Age books that has the least amount of dialogue. Like, well, I say that because like when you look at the caption boxes, you look at the word bubbles, they fill up a lot of the page, and especially with these 9 panel grids with these like really thin vertical pages,
mm-hmm.
words and dialogue fill up a lot of that space. You lose a lot of the top half of your page. You see it in Watchmen, you see it in other books that like have a lot of like 9 panel grids. Um, so I have this feeling that with Doctor Strange, they kind of knew that, and they, it's still wordy, but there's still less dialogue overall
Yeah,
throughout the
for
book.
sure. I could see that hands down. The exposition is the heavy part, but like
Yeah,
the actual conversations aren't nearly as like thick and dense as we're used to.
yeah, and like it's just kind of like I can't dream, and he's like, "Don't worry, I have a solution by entering your dream." Um, Granted, they don't have to do the exclamation mark in the word bubble. They
I
can
know.
take more
Oh,
space.
it's just
Yeah.
like that
Oh.
anime. Oh.
But I feel like in other books at the time, you would have had a longer explanation, like, "Well, by my powers and being the Sorcerer Supreme, I'm gonna enter your dream."
Yeah. I am going to use my abilities to step into the dream world, where therefore I shall. And you're just like, fuck, all right, Stan,
Yeah.
shut up.
Well, let's Shut up. Well, let's talk about how cool it
sequentially.
is.
Oh, go on. No,
What?
what do you want to talk about?
No, I was just
talk about
gonna
the
go
art.
into the art, but go
Oh,
ahead.
okay, cool. We're on the same page.
Sweet.
Sequentially, dude, look at I without even having to read all this bullshit. Like this dude rushes into a building, and then Home Slice is like enter, and then he's talking to Doctor Strange clearly because he's there to see him, and then you could tell he's in fear, and Doctor Strange is like listening patiently, and he's describing this like crazy fucking thing, and Doctor Strange is like and then the way Strange's hand is like shaking like with a loser like symbol right there, like 1990 Strange, you could tell it's the motion of just like fucking beware, like blah blah blah. And Home Slice is all scared then, and he's like, I'm gonna do it. And then you could still see Home Slice is still scared. Doctor Strange is doing his magic, his astral body leaves, and you're just like, okay, how far is it going? Out of the city. Oh, across the world. Like, that's the story
Yeah.
right there. Like, that how sequentially you could look at that. What we were saying in Batman, you couldn't figure shit out like that sequentially. Like, this is really good storytelling through visual art.
It's a little bit more smoother. Like it's like you get the idea of what's going on without having to be told much, even though they do tell us a lot.
Yeah. God, they tell us so much. Jesus Christ, he doesn't stop.
They tell us so much.
Until finally, at a hidden temple somewhere in the remote vastness of Asia. Of course.
The narrating every time, dude. Like, uh, but I was gonna say what I think is cool is like during the Silver Age, there's a lot of wacky things. There's aliens, there's magic, there's demons, there's all this shit that's like mystical and very fantasy based and sci-fi based and hard sci-fi versus soft sci-fi. Do you know that? You know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Okay. Uh, it's it's pretty cool that like they still found ways to make things interesting because I don't think there's any characters that were really like I don't think they call it his astral form because they call it the astral form later,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's cool like this idea of like his spirit kind of traveling across the world to go talk to like his. Does he have a name for him?
The Master? Is it the
The
Master?
master, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, and like he goes to communicate with him, and like then he goes into like the dude's mind, and then like sees this evil spirit being that's like occupying his headspace and why he can't sleep, and like I don't know, like to me that's cool shit in the 1960s.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. And I mean, also, like, I mean, that's a big part I wanted to talk about as well was, dude, using just like black and white for the astral projection. How brilliant, how smart in a comic book. You know what I
Time
mean?
saver.
Like time saver, but also like that's some skill to just have like the lines on there, no detail. And I mean, it works out so when it comes to printing and a comic book visual standpoint, he's fucking with the colors. And he's
Hmm.
not coloring them blue or some green to be all astral or like a light shade to something. He's straight up black and white, like he's in a different parallel. That's why Ditko was so fucking cool because he knew how to play with stuff like that. And his later Strange work is the trippiest stuff ever. And it's because he knew how to mess with like what you're looking at on the page, like that pink contrast to the black and white. Like you
Hmm.
know he's somewhere else and not actually there. It's brilliant and it's so simple, but
What's
it's so
interesting
smart.
too is like it almost looks like they use the technique of like not finishing a page to give that astral what do they call it? Astral
Projection type of thing.
projection. It's projection,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't give it a name in this.
Hmm.
Um,
I
but
think in
like
the
it.
second issue when they introduce Mordo, that's when they like name all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know that much good Doctor Strange. I know there's like the Brian K. Vaughan stuff and like Jason Aaron did some stuff.
I read Jason Aaron like few issues that I had. That shit was dope. I want to read more of it. I haven't read a lot of Strange either, and I have like, I wonder if it's right here. Yeah, I have an omnibus of Doctor Strange.
You do?
Yeah, I just realized that.
You forget.
Check this shit out.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Sweet.
man. And you know what? I'm sure
Uh,
this like I think it starts off with. You know what turned me off from this is because when I bought this, yeah, man, fucking crazy. When I bought this book, the omnibus, the volume one, it doesn't have like Doctor Strange number one. It's all Strange Tales 110 all the way through 46 and the Amazing Spider-Man annual. So Doctor Strange didn't have, so that's from
series.
1963 to 65. That's 2 years worth of like appearances that he did not have a title yet. And it's all just like backup story stuff because the majority I feel of these Strange Tales, it looked like it was Human Torch stuff, you know? Um, Crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Man, fucking Kirby. I mean, Ditko's insane. Anyway, sorry. But I gotta read
But
that.
I was gonna say what I thought was cool is that to give this astral form appearance, it's like almost they didn't finish the artwork for Strange.
Mm-hmm.
Which in a way like makes it feel more abrupt and stick out more. Like he doesn't look like they finished coloring him in, which was like an easy way to save money and time. to figure out
It
an
it
astral
feels
form.
like kind of meta in that sense.
Yeah, it
Like when you
does.
see those comics that doesn't have the finished artwork, because it's like SpongeBob did an episode like that, where like all of a sudden like it was just like,
Everybody's like drawn by pencil.
yeah, exactly, and he was just like stripped down to nothing. And I love when cartoons. There's some old Looney Tune cartoons that do stuff like that, where it's just
Mhm.
like erasing everything. The Bugs Bunny stuff, like where there was an eraser getting rid of everything, getting rid of his ears and everything, and then redrawing them. Like I love that meta. Grant Morrison's Animal Man is that same essence, and that's what his
Mhm.
astral projection feels like.
Yeah, it's really cool and just like a smart move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally see that. But yeah, so he meets like this like incarnation of evil of all the evil this guy did, and then it turns out to be this villain named Nightmare,
Yeah.
his ancient foe. Which again, it's like a first appearance, so they don't really explain much. But like at the same time, I like this stuff where it's just kind of like, oh shit, who's Nightmare? And I guess we got to find out, you know?
I wonder like, and it had to have been, you know what I mean? But I wonder like how much of a fan Neil Gaiman is of Doctor Strange, because this is all very Sandman-y, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna enter
Hmm.
his dream, and then there's like this like force that you're fighting against, and all this. Like, I mean, that'd be interesting. Uh, that's gonna be my Neil Gaiman question next time I see him. How big of a Doctor Strange fan are you?
Well, I just
But
typed it in
no,
real
he
quick.
he's a big Ditko fan, because he actually hunted down. There's a YouTube video. He hunts down Ditko to ask him a question and do an interview for something, and Ditko refused to do the interview on camera. But he said, "Come down to my offices and we can talk, and I'll answer your questions." And then he even gave Neil, and the guy Neil was with, some comics. And Neil is, after the interview, and they go up there and talk. They didn't film it, but like they come down, and Neil's just like glowing because he got to talk to Steve Ditko and got some comics signed. And he's like us if we got to go fucking talk to like Neil Gaiman and like hang out with him for a
Yeah.
bit. Um,
Well, Ditko is like a legendary creator, and on top of that, he was also like very private. So it's not
yeah, very
shocking that
private.
he wanted. Yeah, like he was private to the point where he didn't want attention. Like he
Hmm.
purposely didn't want any recognition for the work he did in a way.
Yeah, he. I mean, for those who don't know, like he like would not accept like the Spider-Man recognition to a certain point. Until, well, that's also because until Stan Lee says I co-created, and then there's videos of Stan. There's one where Stan Lee gets really pissed off because the guy was just like, so, you know, Ditko created blah blah blah, like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange and all this. And Stan is just like, he helped with, and Stan won't phrase it because he knows like his lawyers will kick his ass for it, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? But he ends up getting like pissed about it. And then there's an Alan Moore video you could find where he's talking about the creation of Doctor Strange and all that stuff, and he's just like trashing Stan and talking about how brilliant Ditko is. Again, I mean, Stanley had the greatest people to have Ditko and Kirby like by his side doing all this stuff. Like,
oh
I mean,
yeah, hundred
and
percent.
Stan knew it too. Stan definitely understood.
Yeah, I mean, he was surrounded by amazing talent left and right.
And look at those blues, those contrasts. Like,
I
look at
know,
how like
right?
the shading was on
He
that.
did the coloring too, didn't he?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, Stan was lucky, man. He had some of the biggest talent ever, like surrounding him. You know, but yeah, like have you heard of this character called Nightmare?
No, no, nothing about Nightmare.
No. I think it's funny though that the guy is like, meanwhile, in the semi-dark bedroom, the sleeper wakes. He mentioned Mr. Krang, so that's what it's all about. There's Doctor Strange. He must have heard it all. And I'm just like, oh, so he's gonna kill the guy that he asked for help from? That was the only thing that was confusing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah, I honestly,
He's
the writing, I just breezed past it. I was too immersed in the art, to be honest. Like, because I mean, look at the detail in some of this stuff. Like in the bottom row, the second panel, the way he would draw like those like type of like it's like an incense burner, but like all the like I don't know the fuck it's called. Everything in the
just
background, all like the tables and the counters and everything, very detailed in that sense too. And look at the eye, like on this. Oh, I forget. It's the final page. It's a 5-page comic. That's why.
yeah.
Um, I forget how fast it just disappears.
What's it called? The Eye of Ugamoto?
Yeah, Agamotto or something like that.
Yeah, like they don't call it that in this, but that's what saves him. And it like literally blinds him with like a bright light,
Hmm. And then
and
like the
his
astral
limbs
form
grow
stuff is
rigid.
just too cool,
Oh yeah.
man. And that panel that looks kind of like the cover, the Alex Ross cover here.
Oh, it does, huh? Yeah.
Yeah,
His astral form returning to his body.
that's interesting. How cool. Man, I don't know. For a first appearance, like it's kind of like one of those things where you're just like it feels like anything else in a comic book except for like I mean Doctor Strange's outfit is already the craziest fucking thing you could ever imagine. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that shirt and the gloves and everything, the leopard gloves are just wicked for I mean with the little like scarf thing, I don't know what it's called. On his
Does he
waist
wear
and
it in the
everything.
new movies? That scarf thing?
No, he doesn't. No.
He doesn't, right? No.
No.
Uh,
But it's just it's crazy designs, but it's one of those ones that like I unless I somehow came across this later on, I'd be like I don't really need to read a second issue of it. I'd be kind of down to if I ever came across it, but like
yeah.
I feel like it would blend in with a lot that was out at that point. But it definitely stands out compared to the Human Torch that we just read. Well, didn't read, but that's
Did it
before
read? Yeah,
this.
that was hard to get through. So here's my thing that was kind of confusing. Like this guy goes to his place, the Solum Sanctum. What is it called? I don't know a lot
Uh,
about Doctor Strange.
Sanctum Sanatorium.
Solo Sanctum.
I know, yeah.
Sanctum Sanctorum. He goes there and they're in this room, but the guy goes and pulls a gun out of a drawer. So did they go back to his house?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
you're right.
and then
Well,
Doctor Strange basically punks him and he's like, "You think about what you did." And he's like, "I was a fool to come to you. I didn't suspect my dreams were caused by the many men I've ruined in business. Krang was the last of them. I robbed him, but he couldn't prove it. Now I'll confess. I will be the only way. It will be the only way he could ever sleep again."
man, that's a weird way to end it. It would be the only way
I
you
know.
can ever sleep again. I guess, like, what did you do, Strange? Like, what kind of curse did you put on this guy to be like, if you don't fucking fess up, dude, I'm gonna fuck with your dreams for the rest of your life. Like,
He is the
be
Ayagumoto
a
on him, man.
be a good Samaritan. Next issue, explore the mystic world of black magic once again with Doctor Strange as your guide. That's a bitchin' final like panel though. Like that's a
Yeah,
cool
for
like
real.
pose, and then he has the thing coming out of his chest. Like that's sick, dude. Ditko,
It goes the man.
man, that is a gangster pose for Doctor Strange too. He has his like lips puffed, and he's just like he's got the stash. That
And
stash
then
it
you
goes
go into
up,
another.
and then
Oh, the stash. He's got to have a mustache. It's Doctor. It's not Doctor Strange.
well, it goes up, and then like it's like a
Oh yeah.
handlebar, like
It pokes upward and then keeps going to the
yeah,
handlebar.
that's
But what's funny is
insane.
the consistency is not going on there.
I wonder how hard that is to shave. You know what I mean? Like and
To keep
keep
it looking that way. It's hard looking
yeah.
this fresh when you're the Sorcerer
Sorcerer
Supreme.
Supreme. He does. He has like a gold chain and shit, like with a
Yeah.
cool like white hair. Like I don't
And
know.
then notice the next issue goes back to more fucking Human Torch shit when you know that's not something you care about.
Oh no, no, not at all. The next issue is Mordo though. I have read that
Is
issue
it?
before. Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So what we'll do, we're doing superheroes. So maybe we'll do a villains edition and do villain first appearances at some point.
that'd be pretty cool.
Um, this is cool stuff. I love seeing the contrast between. Well, we haven't done much DC stuff,
In
but
the Silver Age.
I don't know if it's going to be as good. I don't know. We'll find
I
out. I
mean,
can't say shit. I really can't say shit. Like I should read it before I say
yeah,
anything.
we gotta read it. But Marvel did have cool shit. The way I mean, they had Kirby and Ditko and Ramita's Senior. Like
Yeah, dude. Like,
they
oh,
they had
DC
some.
had Ramita Senior too for like Sergeant Rock and shit.
Yeah, and not to say decent. Yeah, DC didn't have a good artist
No,
either.
I'm thinking
It's
Joe
just
Kubert. I'm thinking Joe Kubert. Fuck me. Like, I'm so sorry.
Romita
But,
did romance comics before Spider Man. I know that, so I don't know
yeah,
what they were published under.
but yeah, we'll get to some DC stuff soon. So some of this Marvel stuff has been fun at this point. But we're breaking into DC with the Batman #1, so that'll come out soon, along with the #1 of this Doctor Strange and the #1 Thor. Because I mean, we just got to read it. I mean,
Gotta get out of
you're
the way.
listening to the show, like you need to learn about comics too.
But
Don't
how
say
did you
no.
feel about the first issue?
Um, like I said, I don't know. It's some of the concepts really grasp me a lot. Like I think it's super cool, but I don't know how much. I mean, out of all the Marvel stuff at this point, this is probably the coolest thing that has come out. To be
Well, it's
honest.
like short and sweet and to the point. Like again, it's not written the greatest, but like the ideas come across. You're like, oh shit, this guy knows magic, and he fucking
Yeah.
travels around as a spirit
He's
and
got this
like can go
wicked
inside
outfit.
people's dreams. Yeah, he's got a wicked fucking stash, and like,
Yeah.
like I don't know. I think it's cool. I mean, again, I don't know if I'd be a huge fan back when it came out, but I think like the idea is there, and the idea of something crazy is
I think what
definitely
throws me
resonates.
off is it being in a Human Torch comic.
Oh yeah,
You
of
know what I mean?
course.
Like the Strange Tales aspect. I want to see what else was in these Strange Tales books. And I think I'm just thinking straight up of like already in Marvel. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
but yeah, if you're looking for a Strange Tale, bam, this is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool stuff. I'm hyped to read more. I'm hyped to see where Doctor Strange kind of goes in a lot of sense. Also, check out Across the Bifrost. He has a Sorcerer Supreme podcast as well, and we got a link to his. If you go to our Instagram link tree, there's a link to his link tree where you could check out all that stuff. But he covers a lot of this Doctor Strange stuff in depth, a lot more than we do because he's smarter than us.
And
And so
Ryan's just he loves Marvel. I know he loves other stuff, but
the
that dude,
beast.
he's a Marvel database.
Yeah, it's brilliant. Like, and so go check out his Doctor Strange show, and maybe we'll get him on for Doctor Strange #1 if we can. But I'm sure his #1 episode is probably way better. So should check that out. Other than that, I mean, did we do a coffee and comic shout out?
No,
Wow. Okay. Hey, in this episode, and go to fucking coffeeandcomic.com. We did a double recording today, so it throws us off every time. But hey, coffeeandcomic.com for 15% off your order below. Don't forget, he has a storefront now. How sick. Go show him some support. If you're in California, go give him a visit. And you know what? I might just edit this and put it in the beginning or something. We'll find
yeah.
out. We'll find out when it comes out. But hey,
Hey,
check that out below. Start at your pull list. And that's our
he's
boy
got a
right
shop
there.
now, and you know what I imagine is it smells like coffee when you walk in there.
Well, it's funny because we recorded an episode before he even told me about the shop that he got it, and we had talked about what it would be like if he got like what his basement smells like, and we were like, if he has a shop, it's going to be like coffee and just beautiful comic books, and we had a
Yeah,
whole
like paper.
discussion. Yeah, like we had a whole discussion about it, and then like 2 weeks later, he's like, dude, I got a shop, and I was like, what?
Dude, telling you, beans, man, coffee beans resonate when it comes to smell, and it's awesome.
It
So
is. It really is.
it's an experience if you have the privilege to be able to go there.
So get some coffee in the mail with your comic books that are bagged and boarded and securely bagged and boarded. All my books are beautiful as fuck from him. Go hit that up. 15% below.
Go
Thanks
treat
for
yourself.
checking us out. Treat yourself. That's right.
Have a comic and some coffee. Escape the summer heat. Who goes outside?
Escape like everything right now. Reality sucks
Yeah.
right now. Fuck our nation. And so check that out. Thanks for hanging, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.